on digital radio, on the app, on your smart speaker, on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch.tv, and Facebook. The Sportscast. Expect the unexpected.
The Jersey Boys Sports Talk presented by The Sportscast.
The Jersey Boys Sports Talk with Victor Arocho and Byron Jones. And here's your host, Victor Arocho.
Live from Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Welcome to the Jersey Boys Sports Talk presented by the Sportscast, July 31st, 2025. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to all our channels, YouTube, Twitch, X, and Apple Podcast. You can also listen to us on your smart speaker. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please leave a rating and a review. It will help us out tremendously. We're also on online digital radio. You can visit our website, thesportscast.net, and also follow us on X and Instagram at the Sportscast1, and check out our app, the Sportscast for iOS. I am not Victor Arocho. I am Santiago Leon. Victor will be coming on a little bit later. He is on transition in an airport. And we got Mr. Byron Jones. How are you?
Wonderful. I'm wonderful in Pennsylvania.
How's the weather up there?
It's hot, man. It's been in the hundreds, like a 107, 108. You know, I'm out here practicing with the kids in the evening. It's about 100 degrees. It's hot. And today we had like flash flood warnings and tornado watches up here. So we're going from one extreme to the next. Tornadoes, the heat.
And how's the team looking so far after day one?
Well, they're 10, 11-year-olds at Prospect Park where I'm coaching at over there. And I got me some athletes this year. I got a whole bunch of them. Last year was kind of like, but this year, we're going to work with it. You know, we're not going to be too bad at all this year.
There you have it. And join us, second time in this week, the unofficial co-founder of the Sportscast, Brett Blair. Welcome back.
How's everybody doing?
Good. How's the weather out there, Brett, up in North Palm Beach?
Palm Beach is nice. You got a beautiful sunset. The moon's out. You know, I'm kind of the roving guy, so I don't have the nice office to sit down in. But I got some beautiful surroundings around me, and I'm looking to talk some sports. That's my dream.
That is your dream, Brett. Unbelievable. What a week in sports. Have you ever thought about coaching, Brett?
I would actually love to be honest with you. I don't know if they're like Byron, if they're doing like based on poundage, like when I was a little kid, you know, 85 pounders, 100 pounders, 110s, but that molds you. You know, I'm sure Byron can tell you even more than me. I didn't take it past high school, but you know, that's where it all starts, man. That's where you learn, you know, to not give up. That's where you learn the respect for your coaches, and that's where you learn to play like a team. So I would love to get involved with it, and I got nothing but the most admiration for Byron. For, you know, he's got a couple of little ones running around. I do not, so it's you know, it's a little bit different, but I do envy him quite a bit. I got to be honest.
Have a little bit of
you too, brother.
Background for Brett. Obviously, it's the Giants show, but which team do you support in the NFL and why?
Oh, come on, man! It's diehard Cowboys all the way. I love it. Listen, the only thing I have to look forward to is by the time we win again, by the time we make our next run, all the idiot bandwagon dudes will no longer be Cowboy fans. Or won't have to listen to all the BS from everybody that hates the Cowboys for all these idiots who walk around who really don't rep the team. When you saw them lose Super Bowl 13 in the Orange Bowl when you're 8 years old and you go home crying like a little girl, you're definitely a fan. And to this day, you know, I'm still, we were joking, you know, that Jerry's killing that team. Should never got rid of Jimmy Johnson and we would have been, you know, a dominant force forever. But I'll rep Dallas no matter what, man, until the walls come down.
Will they win another one before, like, in your, like, will they win
in lifetime?
Another one?
In my lifetime, is that what you
say?
Yeah. Man, listen, they're going to win one this year, my man. All the pressure's off. We got a new head coach, finally, somebody who could just stop stupid penalties, little offsides, holding, false starts. You're the most penalized team in the NFL. You're not playing the culture of football you should be playing. So, you know, I digress. I could go on for a while, but But we'll get to more Cowboys, I'm sure.
Sometimes the sportscast is known for a good counseling session. Get it out of your chest, therapy. So maybe we could get out for the Cowboys tonight. Breaking news: Terry McLaurin requesting the trade from the Commanders. Wide receiver. He is under contract negotiations. He's trying to hasn't reached an agreement for an extension for the Commanders. Mr. Jones, what are your thoughts over this situation in Washington?
Well, they really need him. He is a weapon, for Commanders and the quarterback, young quarterback that they have. But is he 30 or 31 years old? I think he's like either 30.
He's going to turn 30 years old next month, and
29 going on 30,
which is an issue. I heard that's an issue for that contract. I heard
turning point.
Yeah. Do you want to pay 29 going on 30-year-old wide receiver that kind of money right now? Yeah, he's been a great player for him, for years. But do you really want to invest, that kind of money, like a AJ Brown kind of money, a Devontae Smith kind of money, and a 30-year-old wide receiver? That's the issue.
Brett, your thoughts?
I mean, I can't disagree with common sense. Like, it's all based on that index formula that they use. I just point out that negotiations are negotiations, and he's a piece of that puzzle. Now that you brought in Debo, you got the backfield in play with Robinson and Eckler. You got other pieces in place. Your quarterback is one of the youngest guns in the NFL. I would love to see them take McLaurin, or be able to pay him. But I can't disagree. That's a lot of money to give a 30-year-old who's really never proven himself as a true number one. He's been a 1A. He's never been a number one. He's never been like what Malik is going to be for the Giants and things like that. A number one that's across the board.
How much? I mean, do you think there's any team? I mean, I'm thinking about it. July 31st. The Hall of Fame game starts tonight. Preseason starts next week. Is there a team out there willing to trade this part when the season's about to start?
Byron?
No, I don't think so. You figure most people are are right up against the salary cap. So you really don't want to go into the seat where you got to cut this guy, move this here, to have the money, to sign it, because he's going to, whatever team he goes to, he's going to want his money. He's not going to just want to go there for the sake of going. He's want to get paid when he gets there.
Brett?
I agree 100% again. Like, the thing is, if you really wanted to trade, if that's the route you wanted to go, you don't wait till July 31st. He's been in negotiations for months. He's been talking to them for months. Set that tone from the beginning. If that's what you're feeling, you had a chance. Like Byron touched on it. Everybody's literally playing the salary cap game right now. They're either right there hovering, or they're able to make a few little pieces to get it, but nobody's going to be able to take a contract like that and work it in at this late date. So I just think it was foolish for whoever his manager is, or whoever his representation is, that if you want to trade, you do it when they're actually trading. I mean, even Aaron Rodgers took forever, but he let him know early, and that's why he was able to land somewhere else. So I just think it's foolish the way he approached it, and I agree that I don't think there's any team that's going to make a leap and take him as if that's the piece of the puzzle that we're missing to win a Lombardi Trophy.
Yeah, and the only team that I could pretty much think about that could get that trade is the Patriots, and they have a cap for that, but I don't know if that's the place he wants to go, and do they really need him?
Who's the number one over at New England right now? I can't even think about it. Who's the number one receiver?
For who?
For New England right now.
Diggs? Is it? I think Diggs is there, isn't he?
Yeah, he came back off the injury, but I didn't even think he'd be. I mean, he would be. I think you touched on something.
It's Steven Diggs, Kylie Williams, Efton Chisholm, and Matt Collins.
Okay, I mean, yeah, you don't have that would be an improvement. You touched on something that I didn't even think about, because they got space and they have an urgent need. So why don't you step that up, Santiago? Why don't you get a little?
I'll make some phone calls to New England tonight after the show.
All right, there you go.
Oh wow, yeah, we'll have to take a look into it. Also tonight, Hall of Fame game, Detroit Lions versus the Chargers. Brett, not many starters are going to play tonight. Trey Lance is starting. But what are your thoughts over this
Well,
this important game tonight?
yeah, I got to be honest. I'm been working quite a bit, and I didn't even know the Hall of Fame game was tonight. so I got to be honest with you. I didn't really delve into that. I looked into some Giants stuff, but I'm eager to see. There's one thing. If you say Chargers to me, I want to see what their running game does. You know what I'm saying? Like something that even in fantasy, J.K. Dobbins gets hurt every year, but if he could put together a year, I believe they got Najee there now. I mean, they have running backs, they have talent, they have a defense, and they have a coach that knows how to win. But can they put it together? I don't think the players or the starters will play much. I think they'll get a feel for the game. I'd love to see that, they play the first quarter, first half, like like they used to do in the past. But I really don't have a feel for it. You know what I'm saying? What do you think about that? You think they're going to play the starters hard?
I don't think any of them will play.
Yeah, none of them are going to play tonight. I think it's just the third string, fourth string,
really
quarterback and things like that. Will Kesley is going to play. I see that. But what are your thoughts over this game, Mr. Jones?
Yeah, most of these people, you figure both of them are top teams, so you got to, they want to fill it out, as far with backup people and third string guys, and set their roster, for the season. The one big take I have the whole thing is that Trey Lance is still hanging in there. You're talking about a kid, you're talking about a guy that was, a top 5 pick, or what was it, 3 or whatever number he was when he was picked by the 49ers, and people have to say that he's been a complete flop. What is that? It's like his third team now or whatever. I think it was with Dallas. Yeah, it's his third team, and he's probably fighting for his NFL life. So if he doesn't perform in these 2 games in practice, he might be done.
What are your thoughts about Trey Lance, Brad? I know he was with your Cowboys, but what do you think about his journey so far?
I love when you see people who the matrix. We always talk about every team's got their matrix based on the players they take, positions, the whole 9 yards. But you have a guy who Byron said is top 5. You know what I'm saying? Is going to come in and take over San Fran. Somehow Brock Purdy comes in as Mr. What is it? Mr. Unimportant or whatever, Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick of the draft, and he comes in. But if you go to the Cowboys also, and they don't want to keep you behind Dak, even think about that, and they're shipping you off to let you go to the Chargers already. I agree. I think he's fighting to see if he can make a practice squad. I think he's fighting to see if he can make it to where he would be third string, or even fight for his, like he touched on it, fight for his NFL career tonight. Or this.
How did he do with Dallas? Like, he had a few touches?
I never saw him get the light of day. I never, other than that he was practicing, I never heard of anything positive. It was the most unimpressive, I got to say, presentation of coming in here and saying I was in the top 5 pick. I'm going to go into Dallas. I'm going to back up Dak. Dak's going to end up retiring. I'm going to take over. He's proved to be nothing. It sucks. I think he's a good player, but I don't think he's got anything in the tank, man.
Quite something. Byron, Chargers. I think they drafted DJ Ugalele, and they got Heineke in that quarterback room. You think Trey Lance is on the chopping blocker?
Yeah. Who would you want to pay? Okay, you got DJ. You're going to pay him a little bit less than Trey Lance. And it's going to probably come down to all about finances. Or Taylor. Heineke is proven backup quarterback in the NFL. So between the 3 of them, I'd get rid of Trey Lance, and you probably could develop DJ. He's got the size. He's huge. And for some reason, it just didn't work out with him, when he was at Clemson. And then he transferred. He went from Clemson, Oregon State, wherever he went. Then he went to Florida State. He was like all over the place. And he was like a 5-star, quarterback, going into Clemson. He was supposed to be the guy, after Trevor Lawrence, and he sort of just went wayside.
Quite something. We got a comment from DJ Mack. I want the camera to pan to Najee Harris. Need to see the fireworks eye injury.
Oh,
man.
Yo, give that man a thumbs up or something. I would love to see that eye injury as well. Bring it out. Let me see something.
Yeah, so this is a reference to Najee Harris' fireworks incident that happened a couple of weeks ago. I think in Florida, actually.
Yeah.
And and I think he's out. Hold on. He's out for a few weeks, right, Byron?
Yeah. You figure after JPP blew some digits off up in New York that these guys will leave the fireworks alone. Leave the fireworks alone, man. You have enough money that you could hire somebody to do a fireworks show if you want to do.
Go to a big show or something.
Yeah, leave your stuff alone.
No timeline for Najee's return. Alabama running back. He was with the Steelers, right, Brett?
Yeah, I mean, I actually was a big Najee fan from a fantasy standpoint. Every year, he did nothing but disappoint year after year after year after year. He has a couple good games, but I like him as a player because again, he brings that receptions in a PPR league. But he's done nothing. He's caused the Steelers where he could have been, and again, they had horrible quarterback play for a couple years in there, but he could have supplanted himself as a solid Steeler, great running back for many years. So I think he lost out by having to leave Pittsburgh.
Mr. Jones, you think at the Chargers would be a good place? I know Harbaugh loves to run first, loves the running back position. Your thoughts over his new future at Los Angeles?
I think the perfect back for him. Harbaugh wants to run the ball. Everybody knows that. He's built up the offensive line. The guys they've drafted and molded and whatever. He's got the running game. You have Justin Herbert. Who's a top 10 quarterback, and just take all the pressure off of him where he doesn't have to throw 40 or 50 times a game. Harbaugh is going to want to run the ball, and Najee Harris, whenever he comes back, from the this little injury, they're not going to be bad at all. This little injury.
Brett, what are your thoughts over Herbert and this Chargers team? You think this team has potential to go all the way a little bit sometime soon, or Brett?
Oh, me? No, yeah. I didn't. No. They're rebuilding. I would give them when the new coach comes in and he's completely overhauling, revamping. It's like the 3 to 5 year plan, 3-year plan, 4-year plan, whatever. And I believe this is only his third season now, or
it's year 2, right, Byron?
Year 2. Okay, all right. So it's only yeah. I mean, and he brings a culture like that a culture of football, cultural wing, man, like a culture of I'm going to run this ball down your throat, and I'm going to play great defense, and I'm going to control the ball. And if he can do that, like he says, if they can take some pressure off, Herbert's a beast. Don't get me wrong. Like a couple of years ago, we were talking about him being probably one of the top 3 to 4 quarterbacks in the entire NFL. He was fitting in the tight windows. He was just smoking. But I definitely think they're in the right direction. Can they win? Let's start with the AFC West. How's that? As opposed to giving them to the Super Bowl. Let's see them supplant KC. Let's see Denver. Let's see what they can do in that AFC West, and then maybe I can give them a little bit of accolades or not to go anywhere in the playoffs.
Which we got to talk about Chris Wilkins. I'll definitely squeeze in for that show. Well, let's talk about this now. Chris Wilkins got released by the Raiders this past week. I think something about he was in practice and he kissed a player's head or something. And also he had injury issues. But let's go with Byron. Your thoughts over Wilkins getting released by the Raiders?
Oh, man. This guy, that's Dexter Lawrence's buddy. They both played together at, Clemson. So whatever happens in the future, I can see him coming maybe with the Giants. He did have, the foot injury, and then whatever issue he had in the shower or whatever it was that he did, wow. And it was kind of weird that they cut the guy, because whatever, how do you want to put this? Was it a one-time issue or is like an ongoing issue? Because there's other things that they got him, show him doing what he played at Clemson and a couple other things that are out there. So, does he have an issue doing things like this? Whatever, I don't know. But when he plays, he's a great player. He's that good.
He's on the field.
Love to see him. Yeah, I would love to see him on the Giants, but they terminated his contract. He lost out on $35 million.
Wow.
Doing, kissing somebody in the forehead or whatever he did.
Brett, your thoughts over Wilkins? I know you're very familiar with him.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Look, I love to hear myself talk. Okay, but no comment, man. The guy is just out of his friggin' mind, dude. He's just out of he's a project. Like he's a project. Like you know what I'm saying? Dallas has had a couple of projects, with the defensive line and stuff. He's a
Doesn't
project. Like,
Dallas take the hothead sometimes?
yeah, we go for that. We go for the project. I could definitely see him fitting in with a team like the Giants. Like I see the Giants parting I mentioned with Thibodeau, and then coming him in like Pierre JPP, like these guys. It's funny. It's always the defensive linemen, right? That are like
You're the
that are,
crazy one.
that are
Who was
completely
that
nuts.
Dolphin player that was
Completely
messing
nuts.
around a couple years ago
Yeah.
and he got let go? The Dolphin player.
What? I missed that. What Dolphin player?
Couple years ago, there was an with Miami that got let go because he did some act or no, like he was a bully to one of the
Oh,
players.
no, you're talking about right. Incognito.
Richie.
You're talking about Incognito.
Incognito, yes.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, and bullied a guy with two parents that both went to Harvard, and like both came at him with some intelligence, and my man was just in his feelings. He was in his feelings, but yeah, that's ridiculous. I mean, look, like Byron could tell you better on me in this. Like the locker room is the locker room. Like it's a special place, man, and you don't mess that up. You don't mess. That's where the vibes come in. That's where the team starts really feeling like a team. And if you're going to do nothing but alienate people and cause, again, I'm from an era when there was a lot of bullies, and I'm a little older where, you wanted somebody to play harder. You didn't come at them from a mental standpoint. You bullied them into acting like you wanted them to act. So, look, I'm glad they're looking at stuff, but this release is a whole new ball game. But I would love to see him come over to the NFC East as another project for one of our teams over here, and we could do something with him.
Mr. Jones, where do you think he'll get picked up? I mean, will he get picked up? Because he's that good.
I'm saying I'm going to stick with the Giants. Where else could a better place be for him to be with his teammate from college? That Dexter Lawrence, is the voice of the locker room for the Giants. So Who else would be better to keep this guy in check than a guy that he played with and that he knows? So the Giants 100%. Would be the perfect fit, for him.
What's the contract would look like? Like what would the new team's responsibility be? Because I know by being released, he literally is the contract is null and void. Do you have to? I'm not familiar. I should get a little bit more familiarized with it. But
I'm gonna look it up right now.
Can you bring him in at any contract? Can you bring him and say, look, I'm going to give you a 1-year deal for this much? I believe that's what I've seen in the past. So I'm not positive.
They would have to fit him in, like, whatever their salary cap thing is, they'd have to be able to fit him in under that. So right. You can get, 1 year, $3 million with, a whole bunch of incentives or, whatever you can give the guy. But, or whatever the veterans minimum it could be, because he's basically, because whatever he did, he's probably fighting for his football life too. Because a lot of teams are probably like, nah, I don't think we want to deal with that, especially this late, in the season, and especially if you don't know exactly what he did, because they're not going to say exactly what he did.
It's odd that they didn't say anything further than that. Like I don't, like nobody came out, nobody broke rank and protocol, nobody leaked. I'd love to find out I'd love to see the Najee eye picture, and I'd love to know exactly what happened in the locker room. The two things I love. If we can find these out, I'd greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, his contract with the Raiders was actually worth $110 million.
Oof.
4 years.
Oof. Wow,
that hurts. That hurts. And does he get any of it now? Or is the contract completely?
He has $57 million fully guaranteed.
Okay, so there you go. I mean, it's not walking away like a pauper, but he's a friggin' idiot. He's an idiot, like he really is. But he needs somebody. He needs a bully, like we're talking about it. Like Byron, what do you think? Like I think Dexter bullying the hell out of him and getting his head in the right space is something.
How about Marcus Parsons?
Yeah, no, we're mentally healthy now on the Cowboys. This should keep it that way, okay? Somewhat.
So let's stick with Micah Parsons, Brett. Everything's staying still. Can we see Parsons pulling a move? Hey, get me traded out of here because I don't have an extension, or do you think he'll stay with the Cowboys and that contract will be signed before week 1?
Right. So I love Mike Parsons. Obviously, you can't be a fan of your team and not somebody comes in and plays at the level that he's played at his first couple of years. But I did think about this. Like just like with Tyreek Hill, and there comes a point where now they're going to have 4 players that are all paid max of their position between the CD, between Dak, between now him, and I forgot one of the offensive linemen. I don't know who the fourth one is, but that's tough. I mean, we're talking salary cap. The owner of my team, I call that my team, is an idiot. He's an idiot. He waits.
Wow.
He could have signed Parsons for 32 or 33 million right after some of the top defensive linemen signed last year. Instead, he holds on just like they did with Dak. And now you have people that have signed. TJ came in, and now you're at 40, 41. So now instead of being able to lock him in at 33 or 34 by acting early, they were now having to pay out 42 or 43 million. They will re-sign him. He will sign before game 1. But honestly, like, that is the player right now that could get more draft equity. He would be like the Herschel Walker of this. Obviously, we're not going to get that much because that was an utterly ridiculous trade. But if they did, I see 2 first rounders, some second rounders. I see a ton of draft equity, and again, the salary cap. Do I want to keep them with every fiber of my being? But like, it's a business, like you guys say.
You got to balance the books.
So I think they will sign him, but it'll be right before game 1.
Trayvon Diggs was the other guy you were probably thinking about.
Oh, there you go. Who signed a maxed out contract as well, who's still coming off of the injury. And even though he's a ball hawk, we need these guys on the field, man. We need these guys on the field. And you can't pay 4 top tier positions max contracts when you could have saved. I mean, add it up between what they did just last year, 2 years ago with Dak, with CD, and then now with Parsons, they probably could have saved $50 to $60 million over the 3-4 years because they let the max contracts rise and hold out to the last minute, somehow thinking because this is Dallas, you're going to want to play and you're going to sign, and that just ain't the way it works. Like we said, it's a business. I wish people were in awe and wanted to play for minimum contracts, but they deserve to get played. And I love Micah. I hope we keep him. But I'm.
What do you think about Byron? What do you think about Micah Parsons? His situation with the Cowboys, complicated, awkward, everything. He's in training camp. He's showing up.
All of the above. Because you figure, okay, if you trade for him, and like he said, it'd be a boatload of whatever. What team out there could possibly trade for him and not just destroy everything? The only one I could see is like maybe the Detroit Lions are right on the edge. As far as like giving up a first round pick this year, one after that, because they're there. They just need, maybe like another piece, with, Hutchinson. So a team like that, I can see him going to, but like you said, they screwed up, by not signing him, earlier, and now, the numbers just going up and up, and then people forget they got Trey Hendrickson, the edge rusher for Cincinnati. He came in, but he's not practicing. He's another guy that has to get paid. So, but right now, Micah is the guy. He should be at, TJ is 41, Micah should be at 42. And that's because, Jerry Jones screwed it all up.
Amen.
What do you think about that, Brad? What Byron said?
She's preaching, man. That's exactly right. I have said it many times that he could, dude. I've said it many times that he could go. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I have one of my friends walking by. I just think they do that. They do that with every player, and I think he does nothing but hurt the team. I love the team. I love, Jerry Jones is a great guy, and he does a lot. He does Salvation Army, and like he's a really great guy. But he does not bring to the table from a business and a contract standpoint and even a talent standpoint. The only thing that they've been doing right is draft. That's the only thing the Cowboys have been doing right. Everything else, Jerry Jones finds a way to screw it up. It kills me, but he will not take his hands from around the throat. That's how I feel of the Cowboys, of the team. He just has to hold them in place. He has to be in control, and it kills him. All these players should have been signed early. All these players should have been in contract, in camp. Most of them don't have as much class as Micah, and wouldn't show up and play and show up and practice. But again, that shows the type of player he is and why you want to build a team around him.
Comment from DJ Mac said, I thought I read that Trey Henderson's finally
Did he?
signed the extension. I've not heard that.
No,
you might have sources.
No,
he came into the
practice.
training camp. Because you get charged $50,000 a day, Brett.
That's all he did. He did.
Wow. Did they waive the $50K a day, the penalty? Did they waive it, or is he getting penalized $50K a day?
Well, once he comes in, it stops. If he stayed out, it still would have been $50K.
He stops the bleeding.
Yeah, that's $50K a day. I'm going to stop that bleeding real quick.
Yeah.
So Trey Henderson, should he be getting paid how much, Byron?
He should be okay. You got Michael should be at the top. I would put him, and you got T.J. Watt. I would put him between Myles Garrett and Hunter.
T.J. Watt.
Hunter, the guy from what was it, Texans?
Daniel Hunter.
Like between 40 and 35 million. He's not he's not better than those two guys. T.J. Watt and Myles Garrett and Micah Parsons. He's like the fourth guy on there. Give him fourth guy money.
What do you think about that, Brett? How much should Trey Henderson get paid?
No, I think you hit the nail right on the head, man. He, you got to throw Myles in that group. But when you're talking about the premier quarterback devastators in the league right now, TJ, of course, Micah number one, TJ right there, Myles Garrett would be, a 2A. They're all right there, interchangeable depending on how they're playing during the year. And then you get that second tier, and I do believe he should be paid. Like he's been beast mode, but he should be coming in like just exactly as he put it, probably in between 3 and 4. Maybe even one or two other players out there. You're talking $1 million, $2 million difference, but still, when you're in the top 5, top 10 in your tier, and you're being paid at not running back, contract levels, but offensive linemen and defensive linemen time scheduled or contracts, which we find out those are the big contracts these days. Quarterbacks and linemen.
Byron, Brett thinks that Micah Parsons is compared to the Giants. Gosh, I always forget his name.
LT.
Whoa! That's disrespectful.
I know. I'm an LT fan. I don't know why. Because I get confused with the Chargers running back. I don't know why.
No, well, that's LaDainian Tomlinson. He's LT also. That's LaDainian Tomlinson. That's
the problem.
You threw some words in my mouth, though. I didn't say. I said if he keeps playing at this level. If he keeps playing at this level.
That's.
Would you put Micah Parsons at a Lawrence Taylor level?
At this stage of his game, compared to how LT was playing, I would definitely put him right there. Am I saying he's playing better? But I'm saying he's coming to the league, playing that level. That you don't think so? You don't think he's leveling up to what LT did in his first 4 years?
No.
Right.
I think LT was he was the most valuable player, in that 4-year span. Quite a few All Pros like Micah, but LT changed the way the game is played.
100%.
The left tackles down are getting paid because of him. Because he changed the way where you had to put your best athlete at left tackle. That's what Lawrence Taylor did for the game. Micah Parsons is a great player. I've never said he's not, but he, like Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick have said, Micah Parsons is not a Lawrence Taylor.
Let me throw something in there. What do you think about Abdullah asking for LT's number? Asking LT if he could use. He did it. He really did it. Abdullah went and approached LT and asked him if he could use 56. He's never played a game in the NFL yet. And I want you to give me the 56. What do you think about that?
He's like, hell no.
And you know what Lawrence Taylor's number was? His answer was, you know what? Go get another. You're not getting this one. Go get another number and make that one famous. You're not getting this one. And he even tried to get Lemon with Phil Simms, the number he had in college. And they were like, matter of fact, it was Phil Simms' family was like, nah, nope, we're good.
I love that. Get your own number and make it a Hall of Fame number. Then you've done something. You don't need my number. Use your own number.
That's right.
Which numbers is untouchable for the Cowboys, Brett?
You know what? It's honestly, I know 33. I know Dorsett's number is not used. I believe Too Tall Jones' number is not used. Randy White 54 is not used. I don't know if Staubach is retired. That's a good question. I don't know exactly what numbers. Just because you're retired, like they don't retire your jersey at a lot of some stadiums where people could still use that number. You're just retired and in the Ring of Honor. But I'm sure there's got to be 8 or 9 numbers that can't be used. But off the top of my head, I could only throw you the game changers. Probably Aikman's number, Emmett's number. You know, the Hall of Famers are probably going to be untouchable.
Quite untouchable, but you know, which I like. I think respect it. Don't use it like number 23 for Michael Jordan. You know, not going to be used ever. So.
That's why Kobe made 24, and that was ingenious. But real quick, I want to touch on just what do you think about the class this year? I know we got Patrick Willis. I know we got Julius Peppers.
We got Jared Allen, Eric Allen, Antonio Gates, and Sterling Sharp.
Antonio Gates and Sterling Sharp, the better of the Sharp brothers. Okay, if you want to know who was the better receiver out of the two, Shannon is great, but Sterling Sharp was the man.
What do you think about this class this year, Mr. Jones, Byron?
That is true. Sterling was a beast, you know, for that 4-year span, you know, before the neck injury, you know.
The neck injury, yeah.
He was a great player. He was great. Antonio Gates, you know, for the tight ends. Jared Allen, you know, the sack guy. You know, Eric Allen, you know, played for the Eagles, you know, so of course I got to be a hater. But so it's a pretty good class.
I agree. No coaches going in this year, only players?
Only players, a small class this year.
Wow. That's a good class though, man. You got some generational players. Like obviously, like I joke, but to see a generational player like LT is a whole different ball game. But I watched Patrick Willis and Julius Peppers and Eric Allen. I watched, even Jared Allen, their whole careers, and these are guys that you could watch every Sunday, and they made Sundays a pleasure. They made Sundays a pleasure.
Quite something. And Eli Manning did not make first ballot a year ago.
He got robbed.
Wow. Even look, I hate obviously the Giants, and I hate Eli, and I don't really care for the Mannings. I think Peyton's a better coach than he could have been a quarterback, but that's not cool. Like you got the only dude who could put a chink in as much as I hate to admit it, I hate to say it, there was only one team that could have put a chink in that New England Patriot armor. And that was Eli Manning and those Giant teams, because everybody else got folded in half. But when they're undefeated and you knock them off and stop an undefeated season, man, you deserve to go in. I didn't even know that he didn't catch the first ballot Hall of Fame. I'm a little bit miffed. As much as I hate the Giants, he should be in there. He deserves it.
Comment from DJ Mack: the Sharp without all the controversy.
Yeah,
that's Sterling.
That's definitely true, especially after his brother had that big payout that his brother just had for that little incident that he had, with that young lady. So, yeah, he definitely has no controversy compared to his brother.
Yeah, little whoopsie, just a little whoopsie. And the funny thing is, I haven't heard from Sterling since he went out with that neck injury. I never heard anything about him again, man. And like he was saying that there was a period of time where even Mikowski was throwing to him before Favre got there. But there was a period of time where he was the number one, probably the most dangerous receiver in the NFL, going number 1 or number 2, and even fantasy drafts that I was in at University of Central Florida at that time. So,
what's your memories on Sterling Sharp, Byron?
Yeah, the one guy that talked about him as far as covering him that didn't want to cover him was Deion Sanders, because Sterling Sharp had some speed and had some size to him, and they had videos of him talking about. He's like, no, I don't want to cover. He was too big and too fast and too strong. He was a great player. If Deion Sanders, sit there and said something about him.
Yeah, the goat of corners, who I think can cover anybody at any time. If he's scared to cover somebody, there's a problem. you got a serious problem.
Wow, who would have thought? Of all people, which you brought up a good segue, Byron. Deion Sanders reveals he had fought bladder cancer. He's good now. He's ready for the college football season. Very emotional, but what are your thoughts over that, Byron?
I'm glad, that, he made it through this, and it's kind of weird that, everything that goes on, in this world now that, you know, you want to keep stuff private or you want to put it out in the public and that they kept it private, which is kind of pretty cool, with it, something that, life threatening thing that he's battling and they weren't, putting it in, all out in the news and this and that. And I'm glad, that the guy, he's good to go now because he's been a great thing for college football. As far as with Colorado, them coming back, being a lot better. But I'm glad for him that he fought through it and he's back.
Brett, you have some good memories of Deion Sanders, but this is a tough battle. But he got through it.
Yeah, like I said, he's the GOAT. Just to expand on like what Byron was saying, you got you got kids that are going in the draft, and you're keeping cancer to yourself because you want them to be able to focus on probably the most important next stage or next step in their growth and becoming an NFL player. And you're battling, he said a couple times, the big C, and that just shows the type of guy he is, man. He just does what he's got to do, gets it done, beats cancer. Like if anybody beats cancer, like it doesn't surprise me. It's Deion Sanders. Like he can beat anything. Like what he put on in front of him, he can beat it. And the thing is, I said UCF is my alma mater. I'm gonna get to see Deion when Colorado comes to the bounce house this year up in Orlando. So yeah, I'm gonna go out for that game. I go for a game or two every year, and
the World Champion Stadium.
Yeah, that's it. Our world champion, our what's it did NCAA championship, national championship. We did beat Auburn, and Auburn beat Alabama that year, man. Come on, it makes perfect sense if you think about it.
Richard Vargas says, "What's up, my brother?" I think that's for you, Byron. Richard Vargas, or is that for Brett?
Look, what up?
What's up? Is Byron frozen? I think he's frozen, Byron.
No, I'm
here.
Okay, I couldn't see you.
What about now?
Richard, yes, now I can see you.
Oh yeah, Richie. Yeah, Richie Vargas, New York Jet fan. He's one of those miserable that ain't won anything in 50 years kind of Jet fans. So yes, I know Richie Vargas very well. Perth Amboy guy.
Perth Amboy, New Jersey. Brett's from New York. Your family's from New York City, right?
Yeah, Queens, Rockaway, Forest Hills. They came down. I'm born in Miami, actually, in 70. So they came down in 68. But when
were
we go
Jets fans or Giants?
They were. I was kind of mentioned earlier. I remember growing up, one of my best friends, his father was Larry Gordon, who was the middle linebacker for the Miami Dolphins at the time. So he played at Miramar Optimist with me. We grew up in it. Chris Warren is his name, one of my best friends of all time. But we went before even Pee Wee football, and I'm talking 76, 75, and they would bring sheets and they wrote Jets like on bed sheets. And this is the Orange Bowl, and they would hang them over the edge, like "Let's go Jets, Dolphins suck" or whatever. And they would throw beer bottles at them, like real beer bottles. Because at the time, right, in the Orange Bowl in the 70s, it wasn't cups. They sold bottles of beer. And that's one of the reasons that they stopped selling bottles but they were big time Jets fans. But my mom, God rest her soul, became a Dolphin fan, over the years, going to go to see the Killer Bees and the Blackwood Brothers and Dewey and Marino lived right by us in Weston. But I have some fond memories of the early games in the Orange Bowl, but I can't see repping the Jets. I just can't see repping the Jets.
Were you ever at a hot day at the Orange Bowl where the seats were like so hot because they were like like they were old school seats, like high school metal seats?
Really, what I remember more than that. So I've been to a bunch of games at the Rock too. Before they put in the surrounding areas, the top pieces, you would burn up on one side of the field, the opposite side of the field, and if your seats were there, you would burn up. What I remember about the Orange Bowl is it would literally sway this whole stadium, all of the seats, all of them. You could literally feel them swaying back and forth, and you're talking 65, 70,000 people, and they tore it down, but that was great. Great. I got to go to some concerts, got to see Pink Floyd there. So the Orange Bowl was a really, really cool place, but the Rockets are bad in the stadium. Let's just hope the Dolphins can live up to any type of season this year.
We'll see. And then
I got a chance. I played in that stadium, the Orange Bowl.
Yep.
When we played, the Vikings. When we played Minnesota. Minnesota. When we played the Dolphins there, and Don Strock was a quarterback back then.
Don Strock. That might have been the year that they went to the Super Bowl and played the Niners, actually. That Don Strock was the quarterback for that team. So how'd you feel
was
in
it
that
Marino
that
that won to the Super Bowl that year against the Niners?
Who went to the Super Bowl that year? 85?
I believe Don Strock, led them to the Super Bowl in San Palto in the Rose Bowl, and the Niners tore them up with Roger Craig and Montana, and I do believe that was the year because Don Strock led them to, and then Marino came in that next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing the Wikipedia. He was there from 73 to 87.
Right. So 84, Marino came in and took the spot. But see who went to the Super Bowl? Who played in the Super Bowl that year?
Yeah, I guess. Which Super Bowl was that? Super Bowl 1985?
Yeah.
No, 85 would be Marino. Going. That's the second time they went when they lost to Washington. A few years before that, they went with Don Strock. So it would probably be like 80, 82 or 83.
83,
somewhere.
Redskins defeated the Dolphins 27-17.
Okay, so now look at 81 then. Look at 81.
Okay, 1981 Super Bowl 15. No, Raiders and Eagles.
No, okay.
I guess 82. Want to try?
See what you got.
No, Bengals in San Francisco. Wow.
No, okay. All right, the Dolphins went and lost to San Fran the year before, a couple years before. That Cincinnati Super Bowl was a great Super Bowl, but I don't know how we got on this topic because I can't stand it.
Well, Byron played in the Orange Bowl.
That's awesome, though. That's awesome.
Who was the quarterback? Don Strock.
Yeah.
Dan Strock. Okay, he was the guy.
The only time I got on that field was when we won the Miramar Optimus Super Bowl against Pasadena Lakes. And we got to go on the field and actually play we didn't play a game. We got to do a demonstration or whatever during one of the games on my 100-pound football team. So that's the only time I got to go on the field. But I was there for many games. The years of the Killer Bees, like that defense, Dewey, Blackwood, the Blazinski. There was some good times.
Richard Vargas said, "That's right. I was in California to see the Niners whip the Dolphins' ass." The Miners or the Niners? I guess they call them the Miners.
He knows a dog, Richie. He's special.
Yeah, he's typing real quick. So
exactly. Well, there you have it.
He's waiting for me to come up to Perth Amway hang out. Yeah, okay. I'll be there for the Carteret game, beginning of September. I'll go up there Perth Amway day.
That's a commitment. My man.
Another news: Broncos. Cortland Sutton, wide receiver for the Broncos. Sutton reached 4-year, $92 million extension. Mr. Jones, is this good for Denver and good for Bo Nix?
Yes, it is another weapon that they locked up, with the young quarterback. And I'm going to say it right now because you're here and not that other guy. The Denver Broncos are going to knock off the Kansas City Chiefs and win the division.
I agree with him 100%. 100%. That's exactly right.
Is it Bo Nix believer?
No, he's a dude. It's just Sutton. Look, they have a great mix. They have a great combination. They talk to each other. You hear and say, look, if you don't get me, if I haven't gotten you the ball within the first couple of plays of the game, you need to come to me and tell me because I need to get the ball in your hands. So when you want a quarterback that wants to put the ball in your hands and you're making plays, he's young, he's never proven himself as 100 receptions in a year game or season. But I think this year could be a really, really blow up year for Cortland Sutton because of Bo Nix.
When you look at Denver's team, right? They have a top 3 offensive line. They have the top defense, in the NFL. And they have, Sean Payton, is the coach. He's a proven Super Bowl winning coach. And they might knock off those Chiefs. I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos when we we'll go down the line. But I'm putting it out there ahead of time before Victor's round.
I'm jumping on his bandwagon, man. I'm jumping on Byron's bandwagon. I 100% certain, and that defense, especially the second tier, the second level and third levels, are the best in football. Are the best in football.
And they got J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, I love him. I told you, if he doesn't get hurt, when we're talking fantasy, we circle back and do something. He's the dude that you could draft late and get a number 3, pick him in the 10th, 11th round, and could end up being a number 1 running back by the end of the year. He's that guy.
They even have our ex-tight end, Evan Ingram, Mr. Dropsy. Every time he dropped the ball fly up, somebody intercepted, but he kind of worked that out when he got to Jacksonville. But with the Giants, he would, bounce the ball up, and interception, and all kind of crazy stuff.
He couldn't play in New York. He couldn't handle that. He was a player that's completely different in Jacksonville, completely different. Like, he became a completely different player. I also think that that's just another weapon, that Bo Nix has. He's young, and he's the type of quarterback you want to play with. You want to play for. You want to be part of what he's bringing to the table. A leader.
Yep.
Team of the future, right? The Broncos. With
that defense, defense wins championships, right?
That is what Byron believes too. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's stay with the same division. Chargers left tackle Rashawn Slater lands a reported record-setting 4-year, $114 million deal. Brett, is this a lot for a left tackle?
Well, he touched on left tackle. Now gets paid more money than any other player, on that team, because we now know that if you leave that side open and you have somebody come and break your quarterback's legs, it's not a good thing. So, the money is friggin' astronomical. 4 years. You said it's on a 5-year deal. It's a 4-year deal for
$114 million.
That's crazy money. You know what I'm saying? Crazy money. But when you want to build a team, when you want to build that offensive line, when you want to run the football and protect a young quarterback like they have there, who still has a lot of potential, got to do it. Is he the highest? He's in the highest paid offensive lineman now. Is that right? Correct?
I will take a look at that. Let me look it up on. Okay, right? Yeah, he is. Slater's number 1, Tristan Wirfs 2, Penei Sewell 3, Trent Williams, and Christian Durasol.
Okay. Wow.
And Larry Tunsil's right there, Mr. Byron.
Yeah, he's up there, $25 million. That's a lot of coin.
As long as he doesn't put the gas mask on when he's smoking anymore, he'll be all right. Right? Always about the guy in the draft, right? You got the draft picks just come out.
So what do you think about this extension, Byron?
I think it's great. People forget he was also the right tackle originally when he got, with the Chargers. And then they switched him over to left when they drafted Alt, the kid from Notre Dame last year.
Yep.
And he switched him over, to the other side. But he's earned, every penny of it. And then I don't know how true this report is, but they said that he was going through a divorce, Slater, and he signed, he just got this money after the divorce,
Perfect timing.
Signed whatever.
That's actually ingenious. That's ingenious, man. Like, the guy just says, "Don't pay me my contract till after my divorce comes through. I don't want her getting a penny." My man.
That happened to Spoelstra for the Miami Heat, Brett.
Really?
He got a contract after his divorce.
Man, oh man, that's ingenious. Actually, with Spoelstra, it doesn't surprise me. He's a smart dude. But when you have a left tackle that knows that's smart enough to know I don't want her getting a penny of it, I love it, bro. I love it. That's my dog. That is my dog.
Oh my gosh,
my man,
unbelievable. Well, good job, Rashawn Slater. Everyone's getting paid. Rams expect Matt Stafford to recover from ailing back by week 1. Brett, this guy is very injury prone lately. I don't know what to expect from Matt Stafford this season.
He's got I don't know his exact age. I'm sure he's got to be at least 35, right? 36.
Around 35, yeah.
Yeah, and is he really? He's in the 37s. He's got a lot of years under his belt. Do I think he can come back and play one more year? Where you have now they have Devontae over there now, right? You still got Paku. So you have literally 2. Now we're talking about not being a true number 1. You have a team now that has literally 2 number 1s, a 1 and a 1A. That's something to come back for. But he's old. He doesn't move around like you can. Protect him, and I think he can. I believe he'll be more productive this year than Roethlisberger will. Than Rodgers will be in Pittsburgh.
Ooh,
Wow.
good
Ooh.
take.
Yeah,
Jones?
yeah, that's kind of true. They do have two, one A receivers. Their defense. They showed up their defense to Rams. Gerard Verse, I think the kid from Florida State, is a beast. As a rookie last year. Their defense is really good. Uh, McVay has proven that he is one of the top three coaches in the NFL, and Matt Stafford is toward the end of his career, and maybe he can just squeeze one more out. Because last year when they played Philadelphia, they almost beat Philly in
Correct.
the playoffs
In the
Correct.
snow.
in the snow. Yep.
I mean, you got Kyron Williams too. You can't forget. Like you have a top 6, maybe. I don't want to put top 5, but as far as young running backs, no, because he's a young running back in the league. Is a young running back in the league. You have Derrick Henry, who is a beast, but got a lot of mileage on those tires, a lot of city miles. Or you have a kid who's come in for the last 2 years and just blowing stuff up, and that's again what Stafford needs. I don't really know how good their offensive line is. But their defense is solid. They have weapons all the way around them. If they can protect them, I think you can put something together this year. I really do.
They could win the NFC West
Yeah.
against the Cardinals. Seattle's in a rebuilding stage.
Mm. We haven't touched on the Giants real quick. I just want to throw this out there. What do we think about our starting quarterback? No doubt, I'll throw the preface it was saying he still throws probably the best long ball like in the game. Like there's an art to it. People don't realize there's an art to throwing the long ball, and he does have it. But do you get the Russell of 6 years ago, or do you get the Russell of 3 and 4 years ago? What do you think? I mean,
Mr. Byron?
Well, he's definitely he's definitely QB1. Like a lot of things I've been reading as far as what camp is going. He's throwing the ball deep. It seems like Dable has the receivers there. Malik Nabers and Darius Slayton, Wandale Robinson. All these guys. And they're making a point to throw deep. And the ball he throws, they call it a moon ball. That's what everybody's calling a moon ball. He throws so high up in the air and it just drops in there. But they're really, making a point, to push the ball down the field. That's what, he wanted that when Daniel Jones was there, but for some reason, it didn't work out. And they're really making a really, really concerned effort to push the ball down the field. And they do have the guys. It's just that hopefully that the line, will hold up, so they can get the ball downfield. That's the biggest part. You can't block,
exactly.
can't throw if you can't block.
Quite something. Sticking with the Giants, Mr. Jones, what have you heard about training camp? I know Malik Nabers exited practice with an apparent shoulder injury, but what have you heard about that lately?
Well, they're saying, he had the toe issue. He's been nursing that since college, according to him. The shoulder, they said they're going to monitor it, and they're going to watch him and put him in certain things and not send him out a lot. But right now, Dable's saying it's not a problem, but hopefully it doesn't turn into a problem later on.
Brett thinks he's the best wide receiver in the NFC East.
No, I didn't say that. CeeDee Lamb is the best wide receiver in the NFC. I think if he has somebody to throw him the ball, he is an absolute nightmare. He is as good as Jamar. He's as good as CD. He's as good. If you see the talent this guy has, when people can actually throw him the ball, get him the ball where he can even make a play on, make an attempt or a 50-50 ball, or the man is a beast. You go as far this year as Malik takes you. That's just how I feel about it. Because if you can get that ball downfield to him, everything else is falling into place. If you can get him open and he starts becoming who he can be as far as a playmaker, yak yards, the whole 9 yards. He can be special. He could be very special. He would be at the Jefferson. He would be right in there with that loop if he had somebody. Because got to stay healthy, of course. He's got his little nagging injuries. He's got to play and come in and feel in beast mode. But he's a talent. He's incredible. I wish. Let's put it this way. He's a guy I wish played for the Cowboys. He's the one I'd want over there because he's that good. Malik is that good.
What about that guy sitting in Philadelphia, AJ Brown?
Forget him, man. Forget AJ Brown.
Oh,
Forget Sanders. Throw him. Listen, no, AJ Brown is a big. He's a matchup nightmare. Like AJ Brown, that's what he is. He's a matchup nightmare. But if you can play physical with him, if you could match his physicality, which again, not many corners, or dime backs or your slot position, he can be a matchup nightmare. I just don't think. I think he disappears in games. And again, it's Philly. We both hate Philly. We both despise. They won a Super Bowl. We both, we say welcome to the multiple, the Lombardi East, the NFC East that we have. See, in the NFC East, we like to have multiple Lombardis for every team. They finally hit the club. Okay, Washington's been there. The Giants been there. Dallas has definitely been there. It's only been Philly that's been lacking. It's the best conference or best division proven since the football started in the 60s and they started monitoring it. There's no division that matches up with the NFC. Not even by a long shot.
Did you know the stat that there hasn't been a repeating back-to-back NFC East champion?
Yeah, that's good. Well, you know what? Philly might get it this year. Like I can say, like the Giants. Listen, this is the problem, Byron. I know you know this firsthand. Like, where do you get your wins? Like, I was looking at your schedule. We match up. The NFC East plays the NFC North and the AFC West this year. So, okay, you got the Bears, you got the Packers, you got the Lions, you got the Vikings. Okay, and then you got the AFC or the AFC West with KC, San Diego, Denver, and the Raiders. So that's not too bad. But playing the division, we own the Giants. The Cowboys own the Giants. The Eagles own the Giants. Like, I just don't see where I think you're a 5-win team this year, man. I'm sorry. Like, you were 3 last year. I looked at the schedule. I think you guys get 5 wins this year.
What do you think, Byron?
I'm going to say the same thing I said to Victor. I picked the New York Football Giants to win the division.
Whoa! I love it. Throw it out there. What do you
take?
Do you keep Thibodeau? What do you think about now Thibodeau? Now that you brought in what's his name, the linebacker you put the big contract for with the 8 sacks or 9 sacks last year, Clark. Do you keep Thibodeau now that now that you have Abdullah in there? Like, what do you do? What do you think about that? What do you think about that defense toning up with Dexter and the rest of those guys?
I think it depends on how he's playing, Thibodeau, and how Abdul Carter's playing. If they get an offer, before, because Thibodeau just signed a contract, his 5th-year option, he just signed that. So now he's in that level where are they going to pay? Is he a $40 million a year, edge rusher?
Right.
I would say not right now because the injuries and he had 5, he had 8, and he's not that guy. But if somebody comes to the Giants, before the trade deadline and sit there and says, hey, we'll give you a 2 and a 3 or whatever, for him, they might jump on it to build for the future. But the things I've seen and read as far as Abdul Carter, they're not blocking this guy. In training camp, he's that guy. And I've talked about this before. Thibodeau is more like a power edge rusher. That's how he makes his money. But Abdul is just something. He's I'm not saying he's like Micah Parsons, but he has those traits where he's explosive coming off the edge. And you can just see when that guy just has that wiggle about him, coming around the edge. That's what I see with Abdul Carter and Thibodeau. If, like I said, if they come across with a good trade deal, I can see them trading them and not wanting to pay him, all that money down the line.
Brett?
I think he's correct. I could see, we were talking about McLaurin. I think there's a better chance of a trade like we're talking about, a team that wants to shore up the defense, a team that wants to, and then you got the Giants want to build some draft equity, want to get out of that contract, want to be able to free up that space to pay some of these other players. And I love the hesitancy that he has as far as not wanting to compare him to Micah, I overextended it with LT, but I will say that he used a perfect line. He's got that wiggle. When players have that wiggle, when players have that ability to use their hands to get around the edge, to do things and bend their body and get in positions that makes it impossible for you to get hands on them or block them. And he has that again. He's never played in an NFL game, so let's not put him in the Hall of Fame yet. But I mean, he's shown what it
Not this
takes
weekend.
to be. Yeah. Well, he's shown to be a premier player. He just got to prove it now against the NFC East. That's it. There's no better crucible to go through than the NFC East.
All right, Byron. Before we go, what have you heard? Anything else from the Giants training camp after a full week already in practice?
Well, I'm gonna have to take back all the mean things I've said about Evan Neal. Over the last 3 or 4 years, he's having our former right tackle. They've moved him to guard, and he's having a great camp. As far as fitting in with the position, and people don't realize how massive this guy is. He's 6'7", 340 pounds. This is what you have to deal with, at guard. He's a man child. He is huge, and now it seems like with the 2 or 3. Yeah, it is. With the 2 or 3 different offensive line coaches that he had, and his struggles at right tackle, it seems like he's found a home at guard, like left guard or either right guard. He's kind of like with the Cowboys back. I think it was Kevin Gogan was a big giant guard.
The Great Wall of D. Yeah, the Great Wall of D. Yep. Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir. Kevin Gogan.
And this is how big. And he was like 6'7" or 6'8" or whatever. He was a big giant guard too. So it seems like Evan Neal has found a home. I'm gonna stop kicking his back end, and we're gonna see how the season go forward with him.
Brett, he's a wide load, man. He's a wide load. That dude is a wide load. Gogan, there's the man. The thing with Gogan right there is you always want a player who plays mad, plays angry. And again, being in the league, I'm sure Byron can tell you more than me. This dude was known as an angry dude, like angry, just angry for no reason at all. And he would take it out on you on the football field.
He was like Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, Happy Gilmore. Happy Gilmore too is pretty good. Have you ever seen it?
I've seen it. Brett, how's the Cowboys training camp so far? What have you heard? I mean,
little bits here and there. First and foremost, you just get Micah signed. You know what I'm saying? Stop with the waiting. He's a class act that he came to. He actually reported, obviously, and he's been participating in all the drills. One of our Tylers, obviously, has a little bit, the fractured knee, out 4 to 6. Things look good. I will repeat one thing. Just like Byron says about the Giants, if the Cowboys can stop the run, that's our thing. We Osaruga, and we got some other guys on that defensive line. Obviously, Micah moving around. I wouldn't even mind seeing Micah playing a lot more middle linebacker and not all just that, because he's got that talent to play like all Urlacher in the middle and still be able to go around the end. So I think if we could stop the run this year, there's the weapons on offense now. Obviously, with Pickens re-signing our tight end, obviously CeeDee Lamb, and that running game. Like, I love Javonte Williams. Let's see what's going to go on with him. Obviously, see him in like a wrecking ball when he was a rookie. Went out hurt, and he's never really done anything. So I'd like to see him. Shady. I love to have a little bit of Shady as our other running back there. Right. But still, I just think if we can stop the run this year, we have a real good chance just because our offense has that many weapons.
How many wins will the Cowboys have this season?
11. Yeah, 11-6 this year.
Interesting. All right. And Giants.
I don't know if they're going to win the division. They will. We're going to send 3 teams. I guess 4. Now that Byron said it, all 4 of our teams are going to the playoffs.
I wish.
Like the AFC North wasn't like majority of that division went to the playoffs at one like 1 year. I don't remember.
There's been a couple years where 3 teams go from a division. Just 2 years ago or whatever, the NFC East did that with Dallas, Philly, and Washington.
Oh, that's right.
There's been a lot of there's been times where the Packers, the Packers, the Bears, and maybe like the Vikings have gone. Maybe the year that they lost with Culpepper at quarterback with Randy Moss and stuff. So I don't think it's going to be a fun season for the Giants. Okay, I'm just going to say that. Throwing my gauntlet down. All right.
No shame. No shame.
Oh man.
He's the streaker at the Giants.
And Byron, you and I, my friend, will be watching The Dallas Giant game. What is that? Week 2 or we play you like week 2 or week 3?
I think it's early in the season now. These
Well, put it this way: you said that the Cowboys are going to win, 11 games. We're going to win 12.
Right.
We're going to win one more. That's all that matters.
That's it. Listen, as long as we all beat Philly this year, I'm kind of happy. Like, I'm gonna be honest. If we could just all beat up on Philly a little bit, I'm a happy camper because the playoff wins will come from that.
Injured. That's it for the Eagles.
Who'd you say hurt? Who'd you say who gets hurt?
Saquon Barkley.
Saquon is a beast, dude. He's just such a beast, man. I wonder what team he played for that would let him get away and like go to a team and be like and run for the 2,000 yards. I wonder what team would do that. Like say, you know what? Let me get rid of probably the best young running back prospect I've ever seen, and let me give him to my enemy. Let me go ahead and I'm gonna throw them over there with the team I play twice a year that beats us up already.
Here, this would have been an interesting show.
All I gotta say about that, I don't speak his name anymore. Mr. That guy in Philadelphia.
Yeah, that dude.
Well, there you have it. There you have it, guys. Jersey Boys Sports Talk. Before we go, we do have the question of the day. Which NFL team has the most Hall of Famers?
I mean, it's kind of unfair for us to answer. Yeah, you should say, get some people to put in because we both said who. Let's just put it this way. Yeah. Stick with the NFC. Stick with the Bears are one of the oldest teams in the NFL, man. You got to remember the Giants are up there because they're one of the oldest teams in the NFL. The Packers are up there because these are teams that were playing before the Dallas Cowboys were ever a team. Were playing before a lot of these teams were ever, that's why you see half the names. You don't understand. I mean, you Sid Luckman and these other guys, Red Grange. I know them through history, but I never saw these guys play. So it's very difficult to know when you.
So which NFC East team has the most Pro Football Hall of Famers? Come
on now, please. You really? The Cowboys. That's not even close, man.
You're being disrespectful now. New York Football Giants have been around since 1925. They got a
you guys are one of the original teams too, and you guys are up there for Hall of Famers. Like it's all NFC, man. If you look at it, it's funny. It's like 7 out of the 8 teams are like all NFC, and a lot of them NFC North and some NFC East, just because the Giants are one of the teams that was there in the beginning. Like what was it? Like the Cardinals were there. Like was Pittsburgh a team with the
Bears?
Yeah. First the Bears, then the Packers, Steelers number 3, Cowboys number 4, and 5 the New York Giants.
Boom!
What? Boo! That fake news. Fake.
That's all fake news. Right. I don't think you should be able to count. You can't count the people going in this year. So the Julius Peppers going in as a Green Bay Packer. You can't count him. He's not in yet, man. Okay, why are you counting him? Officially, he's not in.
The Minister of Defense.
That Minister of Defense.
Reggie White.
You're talking about?
Was a Hall of Famer.
He's a badass. That when Reggie White and Byron will tell you this, when Reggie White played for the Eagles, they had the most devastating line I'd ever seen on an NFL football team. Because you had the Minister of Defense, you had Reggie Brown, Lionel Simmons. I forgot the fourth guy, but you guys had a front four that was just God damn. They were a wrecking crew.
Here, let me tell you just a little bit of history real quick. When the USFL folded and they had the draft, the dispersal draft or whatever you want to call it. Well, the Giants had the opportunity to pick Reggie White. They picked Gary Zimmerman instead, who didn't want to play in New York, and they ended up, I think, Minnesota or wherever they ended up trading. But the Giants could have had Lawrence Taylor and Reggie White on the same defense if they had picked them in that draft. That's a fact.
But what if?
Dude, I hate that defense, but you had way more than LT, bro. You had Banks, you had Carsons, you had Reasons, you had linebackers that were just devastating people. And then the defensive line, you know what I'm saying? There's much that I hate to admit it. That team, was that
dangerous.
defense. Yeah, and I wonder who's the coach of that defense, Santiago?
Bill Belichick.
Bill Belichick. There you go. There you go.
Masterclass. Well, end it with a high note. Hall of Fame. The game's tonight. The Chargers, I believe they're winning by a touchdown. 21-7. This is all preseason Hall of Fame, so it's not. We don't know the validity of how good these teams are. We're obviously the importance of these games, right, Brett, is to see what you have, who makes the cut. A lot of these players are playing for a contract, also playing for a practice squad. So this is a very important game.
Yeah, I believe all these much different than again when Byron was playing you played a game you did to the quarter, then to the half, and by that last game people were getting hurt left and right. Now it's funny how it's changed to that's literally what they're doing is building that practice squad, building those people that we know are not going to make the roster, they're not going to make the 53, but in the end these are people that we want to be able to have the ability to pull whenever we want them. So I'm
what you have.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
There'll probably be some UFL players in there. Playing for a spot in the team. You never know.
Trey Lance fighting for his life. Trey Lance fighting for his life.
Well, there you have it. Jersey Boys Sports Talk. You can reach us at thesportscast.net or the Sportscast1 on X and Instagram. The Jersey Boys Sports Talks on Thursdays. Every Thursdays at what time, Byron?
8 o'clock.
8 p.m. NFC East. Brett, you're still creating a X account, right? You're still gonna.
Yeah, don't contact me ever. Nobody ever leave me alone. Don't just I don't got nothing to say. Just leave me alone, all right? and until you see me again. When you see me again, we'll talk, and that's all I need. I don't need people calling me. I'm good with it.
In the chat, Victor should be back from New York by next week, so we'll be hearing his talk. We'll see more preseason games next week, so we'll see more of the whole spread, who the Cowboys are looking at, who the Giants looking at, and blah blah blah. But anyways, boys, I had a blast.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for inviting me, guys. I greatly appreciate it. I loved it.
Thank you, Byron. Peace.